Afternoon, just approaching 3:05. I'm a bit out of breath. I'm absolutely drenched with sweat. The current temperature is around about 25, 26, maybe even warmer. The shot you can see here is my new Syndicate, which I joined around about 3 to 4 weeks ago. This is my second visit and I've gone and bagged one, and it's a bit of a chunk. Off the surface, and without doubt it's a surface PB. Right, let's stop mucking about. Let's get it in front of the camera. Well, finally got my breath. I'm not going to waffle on too much because it's an absolute scorcher of a day. It's well in the 20s. As I mentioned in the previous clip, this is only my second visit to my new Syndicate, and we're up and running. Around about 3 o'clock this afternoon, gone and caught this beautiful common on a floater. I haven't weighed it yet, but it's well over 20 pounds. Absolutely chuffed. Let me just have a think. Session number 5, and I've just gone and bagged capture number 4. Yeah, that's right, number 4. Previous 3 captures were commons, and within literally, what, got to be in 15 minutes of the rod being out, found fish, put a rod on it, literally boiled the kettle, just about to pour it into the mug, and off it rolled. And yeah, this one's the first mirror from the new water. I haven't weighed it yet. Absolutely superb condition. Proper set of shoulders on this one, and certainly one for the future. Ever faithful Scopex squid, twisted multi-rig. You know me, pretty boring. And there we go. What a great start to the day. Right, I'll get it weighed just for the records and slip it back. Whew, let's get me breath. About an hour on from the last capture, and the same rod's gone again. We've had quite a lot of rain over the last 5 or 6 days, and it's pretty obvious it's turned these fish onto feeding. There's quite a few captures, at least half a dozen caught over the weekend from the other lads, and I'm back on the common trail. Yeah, don't recognise this one out of the previous 3 that I've caught. Haven't weighed it yet. Got to get used to this weighing lark. If you've watched any of my previous vlogs, you know that it's not really weight that interests me. It's just about catching carp. But one of the rules on here is they want to monitor the growth progress. So we do weigh them and report back to the powers that be. But here we go, another Scopex squid muncher. Well happy with that one. Just like the previous capture, real good scrap. Actually got a load of weed around the fish on this one and a branch. But we got there in the end and slipped the net under this beautiful, lovely, clean minter of a common. Just approaching midday on a Thursday. Apologies in advance if I sound a bit nasal. I'm absolutely full of cold. Felt absolutely dreadful yesterday. But I managed to get an early night last night. Managed to get a good night's sleep. And I feel a lot better this morning. And I was nearly off to the perfect start. The rods have been out for around about 15 to 20 minutes. I can't believe it, the left hander pulled up tight. That's positioned, if you can make it out, on the far margin in front of that clump of reed stroke pads. And as soon as I pulled into it, I thought, this don't feel right. And around about 30 seconds later, the tip flipped back and off it went. So yeah, pretty gutted. Fingers crossed that's not the only opportunity we get today. So I've got around about 6 hours fishing ahead of me. Yeah, gutted. Fingers crossed for some more action, eh? Briefly, condition wise, it's pretty much perfect. I'd like a little bit more wind. It's pretty flat calm. The air temperature's well into the 20s. I've just had a bleep again on that rod, believe it or not. And it's overcast. Right. Updates as and when. Well, we're fast approaching 3 o'clock. And as you can see from this shot, I'm down to 1 rod. Around about 2 or 3 minutes ago, received the drop back on the right hand rod. And the culprit which come along and picked up the hook bait this time has ended up in the landing net. But what is it? See you shortly. So this has turned into a bit of a weird session. So to recap, I've had a bite within 15 or 20 minutes of fishing today. Pulled into it and within seconds pulled out of it. Then I sat behind motionless rods for around about 2.5 to 3 hours. Then out the blue, my right hander, savage drop back, and the culprit ended up in the landing net. It's not a carp though. Have a look at this for a roach. 15mm Scopex squid, pop up, size 6, plumb bottom lip. That's an absolute belter. Now if I'd have gone and caught that on a 12-foot float rod, 3-pound main line and a waggler, I'd have been well chuffed. But on the tactics I've just caught this one, it's a bit crude, but what a beautiful fish. Well, it's just gone 20 to 5 and yet more drama. I was actually just getting a few bits and bobs together, and then had a couple of little bleeps on the rod that did the bite this morning. Dropped back and then it's pulled up tight and smashed into the R3, and I've gone and bagged a beautiful common. Fight wise it was pretty average compared to the ones that I've caught on here over recent weeks, but it looks a really nice fish again. What a crazy session. Right, I'm going to go get the hooking mat, waistling, get the old refresh bucket sorted, and let's get it in front of the camera. Really enjoyable, if not indifferent session, if that makes sense. Carp fishing, absolutely love it. I don't believe this. I think I've gone and caught the big one again. I caught it on my second session back in June on a floater. So what, we're in the first week of August now, and if it is this fish, I've gone and caught it off the bottom on the ever faithful Scopex squid. I'm going to weigh it, and obviously I'll confirm it in the blog, but I think this is Baby Ben. What a fantastic carp. The first time round when I caught it on a floater, I must have had it on for 15 minutes. It scrapped like absolute stink. But as I said earlier, I can just about see my head. As I said earlier, it didn't really put up a fight. Did a bit of wallowing on the surface and took me down the margin, but it was pretty dog on a lead stuff. So yeah, what a day. And I'm coming back tomorrow for more. Right, I'm going to get it weighed, get it back, and as I say, I'll let you know what the weight was and if it's this fish, Baby Ben. Fantastic. Afternoon, just a shade past midday, and I'm back in swim 7 again on the Friday, the day after yesterday's weird but wonderful session. Both rods are on the same spots as yesterday, and before leaving yesterday put quite a bit of bait on both spots. No quick bite this morning, but there's plenty of fish moving around. I have to double check to confirm, but I think I'm around about 8 sessions in now on this new water. And obviously every time you come, you learn something new. And I'm convinced that one of the major patrol routes on this lake is that far margin. You can walk all the way around the lake, and if you wish you can bait up from that far margin, or that far side of the lake, but there's actually no permanent swims. So yeah, not surprising really that the fish feel safe moving up and down that margin. And apart from 2 captures out of all the ones I've caught have been off the surface, everything else has been caught on that far margin. I've got another 6 hours ahead of me, and condition wise it's pretty much the same as yesterday. Nice and warm again. A little bit more of a breeze this morning, coming from left to right. It's lovely and overcast. Right, what's in store today? Hopefully another carp. Well, we're just coming up to 4 o'clock, and I thought I'd give you a bit of an update. I've got to be honest, I'm disappointed I haven't had a bite, because not long after the first update of the day, at far margin I've had fish rolling, head and shouldering, fizzing. I've had a few bleeps, but yeah, nothing has materialised into a bite. There's plenty of fish moving up and down that margin. Still looks good for a bite though. Conditions are, well, the sun has come out, but for the majority of the session it's still stayed overcast. As I say, I put a bit of bait in before leaving last night. There was enough out there to have a good munch on through the hours of darkness, but the way I judged it was hopefully, if they did get on it, there'd be next to nothing left when I arrived today. So yeah, what I stuck out whilst fishing is just enough for a bite. Have they been in and cleaned me out and done one, or is there still time for some action today? We've got a couple of hours left, so you never know. Fingers crossed. Well, we're just coming up to 5 o'clock, and around about 15-20 minutes ago, maybe half an hour ago, I was giving you a quick update again and telling you how disappointed I was that the left-hander hadn't produced a bite. What with the amount of rolling, head and shouldering, fizzing, you name it, it done everything apart from rattle off. And I was just getting a few things together again, and then out of the blue, the right hander whipped round, and I've gone and bagged another common. I may or may not have told you in previous posts, but there's only 9 commons in this lake. I think this one's at number 5 or number 6, I don't know. The rest of the stock, which is 75 fish, are mirrors. Unbelievable. It's not quite as big as the one I had yesterday, but I don't think it's far away from £20. Right, let's get it on the mat and have a good look. Apologies for the noise in the background. Got Mr. Farmer in the field with the combine. So when I was sorting this fish out, getting the hook out, I've noticed a little bit of a crinkle on its tail, and I actually caught this one 2 weeks ago. So it's the first recapture from the new venue, and if my memory serves me correct, it weighed in at just under £19. Beautiful condition. Here we go. Certainly loves its scope bit squid, this one. Beautiful. Right, let's get some stills, slip it back, and I'll see you on the next session. And welcome to update 3. It's just gone 20 to 3 on a Wednesday afternoon, and we're into September. You're currently looking at peg number 7. And you're thinking, why no rods? Well, I am fishing, but I've had to change the tactics completely today. As I'm sitting here talking to you, I don't know an exact temperature, but we can't be far away from 30 degrees. The UK is currently being blessed with a heat wave, and there was no way I was going to be sitting behind 2 rods today. I arrived as normal around about 10:30, 20 to 11 straight from work. And yeah, I've had 2 or 3 laps around the lake and the fish are all on the surface. So a decision was made, and basically I'm walking around with a 12-foot floater rod, bucket of mixers, a bag full of bits and bobs, and a landing net. And I'm basically just, yeah, looking for opportunities to maybe nick one off the surface. Right, for anybody interested, this is my current floater fishing setup. So we'll start with the rod. It's 12 foot in size and it's ESP's floater. That's complemented with Daiwa's Whisker SS 2600. Lovely reel this. It's got a DP spool on it. Very good clutch, very reliable, well balanced, and it complements this rod superbly. Main line, I'm using 12-pound Nash Sig Flow, and that's direct to a size 8 Nash floater claw. 3-line tactics, which is what I prefer in my floater fishing, but obviously sometimes you have to use some form of controller or bolt machine, etc. in certain situations to get your bait out to your intended quarry. But me personally, if I can get away without using a controller and catch them at close quarters, that's what I like to do. Incidentally, this was the exact setup that I used to catch baby ben earlier on this year. So, bit of a brief insight to my floater fishing. Not that I do a great deal of it, and I'm no expert in any means, but yeah, I thought it might be interesting to somebody watching this video today. Good morning. Just gone up to midday on a Wednesday, 12th of September. And I'm into the first 2 days of some annual leave. I've got a little bit of fishing planned this week before I head up to Scotland to visit family, which is long overdue. Bringing up to speed, last week I fished in temperatures of 25 plus, and those temperatures got even warmer and stayed for the duration of the week. The tactic that day was to try and bag one off the surface. With the amount of fish on the surface, it was a no-brainer really to have a go for them. Within 6 hours of fishing I had one opportunity, which was scuppered thanks to a moorhen. Managed to get 1 or 2 fish, taking floaters right tight to the margin, literally under my feet, and I had a beautiful mirror just about to stick his gob round my hookbait, and a moorhen darted out the margin. Massive splash, moorhen went one way, carp went the other way, and that was that for the day. Weather-wise, had a bit of a change this week. Monday was overcast. Yesterday we actually had a day of rain. Hence the reason why I've got buzz bars and bank sticks on up my pod today, because for the first time in absolutely weeks I've been able to get a bank stick in the ground. Today we've got blue skies and fluffy white clouds, and on arrival there was fish absolutely everywhere. But I decided to stick 2 rods out. I've actually, my right hander's on a new spot. I haven't really targeted the open water yet, so yeah, fancied a bit of a change today. So the left hander's on the far margin as normal, and that right hander is fished in open water just to the right. I've got my floater rod set up behind me just in case I do get a window of opportunity, and as usual I'm fishing to around about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So let's see what today's got in store. I'm the only angler present, so it's just me against the carp. Coffee time. Catch you later. It just comes at 2 o'clock, and around about 5 minutes ago all that area over there was covered in scum. All of a sudden it broke, parted, and a gigantic flat spot's appeared, and that's where my right hand is placed, right in that open water. Scopex squid glugged and glazed, and a few pellets which have also been glazed. So something just come along and had a bit of a mooch and created that. Very interesting. It's got the old juices flowing. It's not picking it up, but there's some fizzing just appeared. Yeah, really encouraging. Right, let's get back behind them rods. I'm just approaching 5:30. Sadly nothing materialised from that flat spot, but in the last 20 minutes I've seen plenty of activity on that far margin where the left-hander spotted. I've just been chatting away to one of the owners. He come round with his dog, and I've lost count how many times I've seen fish show not far from where that left-hander is. Reeds have been knocking. Does look promising. I was planning to depart around about 6, but I think I'd be a fool if I didn't stick it out a bit longer. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So hopefully something does materialise. But if it doesn't, there's always tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Good morning. Just approaching 11 AM on a Thursday. And this is more like it. When I saw the forecast last night, got to be totally honest with you, I struggled to sleep. Overcast, warm, light rain. Don't get much better than this. I stuck it out to around about 6:30 last night, but unfortunately nothing happened. But before departing, topped up both the spots with a good helping of Syndicate squid, and we're in position and fishing. I'm the only angler present. Wouldn't it be nice if it's Big Fish Thursday? Got to be honest, I felt the most confident with these conditions that I have for the last probably 6 weeks. So nothing is a given, or a cert I should say, in fishing. But we're here, we're doing it. Rods are on the spots. You can't catch them at home. So as usual, I've got around about 6 hours fishing ahead of me. Let's see what today brings. I'm sure you'd agree, a bite is long overdue. Kettle's calling, catch you later. First bite in weeks. Absolutely chuffed. I said I fancied it today. Oh, the relief. Right. I'm going to go and get one of the unhooking mats which is supplied by the fishery. Get myself sorted and get it in front of the camera. Absolutely chuffed. Easily over £20. Have a look at this. That is well and truly made up for all those blanks over the last it's got to be 5 or 6 weeks. What a fantastic carp. Surely it's got to be pushing 24, maybe £25. But as I said before, the weight is absolutely irrelevant. It's just all about catching carp for me, and beautiful creatures like this. I feel so privileged. Another Syndicate squid muncher. God, I feel fantastic. I feel on top of the world. Right, let's get some stills. Delighted. And I've just got myself settled in, back in the Wyre Forest for the first time in 2024. Feels great to be here. I'm currently the only angler present, but I expect 1 or 2 to turn up a bit later on today as they finish work for the weekend. Oh, it feels great to be back. The place is looking as beautiful as ever. Into spring now, and yeah, it's starting to take shape again. Real picturesque venue, this one. Well off the beaten track. Proper solitude. It's just started to rain again. We had a bit of rain, well, quite a heavy downpour for about 2, maybe 3 hours this morning. The rain's supposed to ease off as the day goes on. So as you can imagine, it's cloudy, overcast. But for the time of the year, it's quite mild. So we've got 2 rods on that far margin, both on my ever faithful twisted multi-rig, yellow pop-ups over the new citrus. Got around about 7 hours fishing ahead of me. Fingers crossed we get some action. I think my last session on this water was back in October last year, so it's been a while. Right, I'm going to pop that kettle on, watch that water, and hopefully I'll have some updates for you throughout the session. Well, it's just gone 1:15 and I'm sitting here under the brolly eating my lunch. I thought I saw a bit of a vortex on the surface, right in the corner where that snaggy area is. Common's just leapt straight out the water, and then seconds later, big fat mirror. Mind you, it looks well carpet, doesn't it? I'll keep me eye on that area. Right, let's get back to it. Well, it's just gone 2 o'clock, and not long after I was telling you about those shows, after switching the camera off, 2 more are showed in that area, and a few more around the corner to my right near the dam wall. So that's enough for me. So I've whipped in the left hand rod, and I've left a rod on that far margin because that's a spot that, if it does produce, is normally around about tea time. And now the right hander is in the area where I've seen fish show. There's a little bit of fizzing over there whilst I'm talking to you now, so yeah, and a bit of fizzing right over the spot where the rod's gone, so fingers crossed something happens. But it's reassuring anyway to know that I'm on fish, or at least they're in the area, so yeah. I'm going to stop waffling on, sit back and yeah, keep everything crossed. Well, I've just gone 3:25. I've had a few bleeps on that rod which I moved. I've just been having a rattle to 2 lads who've turned up for I think the weekend. And they asked me if I was fishing towards that snag. I returned with the question, I've never seen that before, and have they actually planted any trees? I've just been informed that towards the end of October, which was the last time I was on this lake, that there was a landslide and all the bank on that far side has collapsed, resulting in all that lot ending up in the lake. And at the moment it's creating a bit of a fish magnet because yeah, there's still fish rolling out there. So when things start to improve and we get a consistent spell of dry weather, that'll be coming out. Which is a good thing because yeah, we don't want all the fish locked up in one swim. We want to give all the lads a chance to catch them from every spot or every swim on the lake. Still lovely and sunny, really really warm. Been cooking under this brolly. So as we tick along to 4 o'clock and towards tea time, if anything's going to happen, I think that's going to be about the best time. I just thought I'd update you regards that snag. Just made myself a nice bottle of squash up, so I'm going to sit back, sip away at that and keep my eyes locked on them spots. Afternoon, it's just gone 12:15 on a Wednesday, and I've just got myself settled in for another day session on my Wyre Forest Syndicate. Sadly, last Friday's session ended in a blank. One of the members did 48 hours over the weekend and he only managed a small double. I think that was on the Sunday morning, so it hasn't fished particularly well over the weekend. As always on arrival, I had a good look round and I've decided to jump in one swim down from the one I fished on Friday, and I've got a rod back on that snaggy area. Real tight clutch because I'm fishing really tight to it, so if it goes I've got to be on that rod in a flasher and hopefully get it away from the snag. And the left-hander, he's on the far margin, roughly in the area where I was fishing last week, and since I've been here I've seen nothing but fizzing. Could be bream obviously, but fingers crossed it's a few carp. Weather-wise, it's around about 11-12 degrees. Currently got blue skies with white fluffy clouds. I think it's going to cloud over, according to the Met Office, a bit later on this afternoon. Wind's trickling from the left to right into this corner, so yeah, I didn't really have anything to go on, to be honest, when I had a walk round, apart from seeing that fizzing. But I always like to, yeah, if there's a wind blowing into a corner, yeah, I do like that. Might sound a bit nasal, suffering with another cold, well, hopefully just getting over one. It's the first day in about 5 days that I've actually felt human. Yeah, it's proper knocked the stuffing out of me. Again, this one. But, hey-ho. Back out here, we're doing it, and yeah, fingers crossed. Something happens today and one of them rattles off, and I'll have a carp to show you in front of the camera. Right, as always, I'm going to put that kettle on and hopefully have some updates throughout the duration of the session, which is about 7 hours long today. So yeah, we've got some time to hopefully make something happen. I've just come up to 5 to 2 and I thought I'd give you a quick update. So since the last update, minutes after switching the camera off, and for about 50 minutes, maybe to an hour, I've been having single bleeps, and a little slight drop in the bobbin, and then around about 5 minutes ago, the far margin where that right hand rod's fished towards that snag absolutely erupted, and a beautiful mirror hook right over the spot. I've also had a mirror to my right on the dam wall show a couple of times, so there's definitely fish about. Plenty of fizzing still on both spots. So it's encouraging, but as yet, no pickup. Right, keep watching and fingers crossed. Whew, just catch me breath. It's just gone 20 past 2, and in the last update I said a good fish had showed over that right hand rod. I was getting single bleeps which I thought were liners, and within minutes of turning the camera off, that rod absolutely steamed off. As I previously said, I got a tight clutch on that rod towards that spot. Real tussle, but managed to get it in the open water. But what a scrap. Took me right towards the dam, right down the margin. Give absolutely everything under the rod tip. And finally I slipped it over the net cord and it's in the bag. I've had a quick look, it is a beautiful mirror. And it's, yeah, guesstimation, it's £20 plus. But as always, who cares on the weight. First fish on the new citrus. Oh, absolutely chuffed. So, going to go and get the unlucky mat sorted now, refresh bucket, and get it in front of the camera. Right, just check this fish over. It's in absolutely immaculate condition. I haven't weighed it yet. As I said previously, I would say it's around about £20, maybe a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Just about get me head in. He's even put his dorsal up. Oh, Absolutely love carp fishing when it all comes right. This fish feels absolutely solid. Right, I'll get it weighed and I'll tell you what it weighed later. Fantastic. Just gone 20 to 4. I've got myself sorted again and the rod's back out on the spot. Pretty much since it's been back out there I've been getting single bleeps again. I can see loads of fizzing all over this little bay here to my right and where the rod is. I haven't seen anything else show since the rod's been back out, but yeah, I'm convinced that there's fish still in the area. And I've got just over 3 hours of the session left, so you never know. I could be in for one more. And we are approaching a very good time for a bite on this lake. 4 o'clock till about 6 o'clock. Yeah, I've done quite well on here around about that time, so yeah, fingers crossed. Going back to that mirror, it was absolutely immaculate condition. There was a small tear on its mouth which I treated before it got returned, and it was absolutely solid. Incidentally, that fish weighed at £20 on the dot. So yeah, it went 22 on the scales, £2 minus off for the retainer sling or waist sling. So a 20. So a nice little result. It's gone absolutely lovely now. That wind's still trickling nicely to my right from the left. I did say, as I said earlier, it was going to cloud over this afternoon, but yeah, I've currently got plenty of sunshine. I've still got blue skies and white fluffy clouds. Right, I'm going to sit back and keep watching again. And who knows, as I said, could be lucky and bag one more.